An important thing that the weed scientists we always want to stress is managing to prevent or delay development of a herbicide-resistant weed population in a given field. And some of the ways that you're able to do that is, first of all, you need to know the mode of action of the herbicides you're using. So in other words, how does that herbicide work? Where does it work in the plant? And do herbicides you use have different modes of action, or have you been using herbicides that have the same mode of action? And that's important to know, because out in your weed population of a given weed species, let's say red root pigweed for instance, there is maybe 1 in a million plants out there that are naturally resistant to a herbicide, one specific mode of action. It's nothing that the herbicide did to the plant. It just happens that 1 in a million out there, through genetic variability. So if you keep using the same mode of action, so a herbicide, you keep using the same herbicide, or herbicides in the same family that have the same mode of action, you are going to kill all the susceptible weeds in that population, but that 1 in a million is going to live and produce seed. Well, if you keep doing that year after year after year with the same mode of action, you're going to keep selecting for the ones that are naturally resistant. So you kill all the susceptible ones, the resistant ones survive, and eventually a majority of the weeds, the red root pigweed, let's say, out there, are resistant. So it might seem like all of a sudden you're not getting control with the herbicide that you used to get control with. And an example of that is metribuzin. That's been around since the 70s. And before growers started going to a 3-year potato rotation, where they used to grow like potatoes, small grain, potatoes every 2 years, if they use metribuzin on the potatoes every other year since the mid-70s, well, there's some growers inadvertently selecting for red root pigweed that are naturally resistant to metribuzin, and now we have instances or fields where metribuzin is no longer working on red root pigweed, where we can get almost 100% control season long. They used to get that with the metribuzin. So we're really trying, all the weed scientists that I know are trying to make sure that growers know their mode of action, make sure they're tank mixing herbicides that have different modes of action that have activity on the same weed, because if you don't kill it with one mode of action, let's say it's naturally resistant to that mode of action, you'll kill it with the other one. So tank mixing different modes of action, making sure that in the crops that you grow in rotation with potatoes, you're also rotating mode of action along with rotating those crops. So you have to understand mode of action in your herbicides and your other crops. And nowadays on herbicide labels, they'll have right on there the mode of action. There's numbers assigned by the Weed Science Society of America, so they'll put that number on there, and they'll also put what the mode of action is. And so growers can look at those labels, they can talk to people like me, or their county extension educators, or the people that they get information from, crop consultants, their herbicide manufacturer reps, and all of us can help them make sure they're tank mixing so that they're not selecting for those naturally resistant weeds, and they're not developing a whole population that is resistant and that herbicide no longer works.